forward, now we'll try importing and exporting of customers. Customers, as we all know, is an essential part of any e-commerce store. So here in the Shopify store, how can we create customer? In the left panel, we can see the option of customer. On clicking this, I'll get this right panel where I have this add customer button. Simply clicking on it will open a form view where I'll enter all the details of the customer. You can see I have entered the first and last name, the email ID, which must be unique, the phone number. Along with that, I have added the address part. And if you feel like adding notes or tags, you can also add that. After giving sufficient information, you simply need to click on save, and this will create a customer in the Shopify store. Now I need to make a note of the ID of this customer so that I can use it for importing in the Shopify connector. In the Odoo end, to import a customer, we simply have to go to our instance. Once we are on the instance, we'll click on the specific operation because I want to import one customer at a time. Here the instance name and the operation flow is already chosen. Here I'll choose the option of importing customers. It will again ask me, do I want to import all the customers or I want to filter it by ID. So I'll choose specific ID filter. Here I'll add the customer ID and then I'll click on execute. This will be followed by the similar message of referring the log. Once I close this pop-up, I'll go to processes and verify the queue jobs. Here I can see the customer has been enqueued in the queue and is waiting to be processed. As we can see, the customer has been processed, and moving back to the queue job, I can see the customer has already been imported. Now just quickly verify the imported customer. We'll go back to our instance and we can see the customer count has been increased. Opening this, I can see the layer. Once I open this, I'll be able to go to the customer account. For this, I'll need to create on the name. A customer has been imported from Shopify to our Odoo end. If we want, we can verify the Shopify ID for the customer. We can verify the create and update date so that all these meta fields have been updated. Very similar to the product, here again we can pull from Shopify in case there is any updation in the customer end from the Shopify store. We are assuming, say for instance, a pin code of the shipping address has been changed and we need to update that. So for that, what we'll do is, we'll just quickly verify the current zip which is stored, that is 10011. After that, we'll click on the button pull from Shopify. The page has been loaded and now we'll just verify the zip has been updated with the newer value. So whatever changes we do in the Shopify store can be pulled directly to our Odoo end. The only condition is that the record must be synced previously. This process reduces the manual import of adding the customer ID every time. Rather, we can simply pull from a record we want to be updated with the store. Now, let's move forward to exporting a customer from the Odoo to our Shopify store. In this process, we'll go to the sales menu and inside the orders, we have this customer option. When I click on this, a screen like so will be opening. Here I have to click on the create button so that I can create a new customer. I'll choose it as an individual customer. I'll add a name. I'll give an address to it. After adding the basic details, I'll add some contact addresses. Simply clicking on this add button, I'll choose an invoice address to be added. And I do not want to change this address, I want to keep it as it is. But if you want, you can change this. You can also create a delivery address for the same and simply save it. Once it is saved, you have to click on the save button. And now my customer is created at the Odoo end. Now we simply have to push this to our Shopify store. Now to push this to Shopify, we have this button called push to Shopify, or from the action we can choose push partner to Shopify. Now to push the customer to Shopify, we have two options. Either we can click on the push to Shopify button, or in the action we have this push partner to Shopify. Both of them would be performing the same operation. So what we'll do is I'll click on the push to Shopify. Here it will give me a pop-up like so, and it will be asking which instance ID I have to use while exporting the customer. So I'll choose the one I have created. I want to push some additional data, so it will ask me, do you want to add some notes or tags? So yeah, I'll add note this time. I'll say this is a regular customer. So this is the note I've added, and I'll execute. Now once I've clicked on execute, this process would start exporting the customer to the Shopify end. Let's now quickly verify whether it has been exported or not. Okay. Clearly from the chart, I can see there are two customers who are added over here. I'll quickly verify the logs for this particular instance. On seeing, it is showing me that the customer is created. Let's just quickly go and verify at the Shopify end. But before that, we'll verify whether the Shopify ID has been updated or not. So I go back to instances, I click on customers, I can see this is the customer I created. I'll open it and I can see the Shopify ID has been updated. So now we'll just quickly go and check in the Ksolves store as well. Here in the Shopify store, we'll quickly verify whether my customer has been exported or not. For that, we'll go to this customer section. Scrolling down, I can see the customer has been exported with all the details, including the customer note as well. So this is how we export the customer from Odoo to Shopify store. Now, keeping a note that this export feature is available over the instance as well, the only condition is that this customer or this record must be previously exported, and then only it could have been re-exported using the instance. Very similar situation. For example, if the customer that has already been exported has been updated in the Odoo end and we want to export all those customers in a single go, we can choose export customer over the instance option.